Smile empty so merchandise. Smile empty so merchandise. Smile empty so merchandise. Smile empty so merchandise.
Don't forget to buy a mug. Don't forget to buy a mug. Don't forget to buy a mug.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the entire universe. We have a last-minute show here with one of the most legendary filmmakers of all time. He's live from the third world right now of Germany. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Your beard gets longer and longer. Like every time I see you.
I think the last time I shaved was in Rampage. I shaved to be an FBI agent. That was the last time I think I've ever shaved my face.
I know. That you should put that photo up in your show to see like how sophisticated and streamlined you can be if you want, basically, right? So.
Yeah, I can look like you if I just got a haircut,
right? Yeah. So how is it? So far, so good.
Dude, good. Land of the free, land of the beautiful, God's favorite state right now. You know, Missouri. Have you been to Missouri?
No, I was in Tennessee and I was in Texas a few times and in Florida, but I was never in Missouri.
Missouri's beautiful, bro. It's like nobody knows about it. It's like the most overlooked state, and that's why I love it. It's like we don't have a bunch of those tourists being like, "Oh, look at those Ozarks." You know, we got like it's just Missouri people. It's nice, man. Well, so have you thought about making a fighting video game for yourself?
No, but there was Uwe Boll in the video game, like in Postal. They put my character in, and I think in another game too. And in some comic books I'm in, and so on. So I mean, it's great feeling for me to be in this kind of pop culture things, but I never got $1 for it. So let's say they could give me some money for it, but they just put me in, and I'm okay with it. It's okay, you know.
You should have Gary make you a boxing game like the Tyson game.
Oh yeah,
you have to go through all the critics. You have to go through Vice and like I think Alex Jones you challenged her one time. You should have all the people that you like in order. Like Alex Jones is the final boss that you have to beat, and like
look, Alex Jones, I think he took at one point a lot of steroids. So and people like this, they don't have like cardio, right? So he would be like a bear trying to knock me out, and then after 2 minutes he would run out of air, 100%. So that was my calculation when I challenged him for the fight. So yeah,
dude, that's such a ballsy thing to say. I think it's hilarious. I think Alex Jones is CIA. To be honest with you, I don't trust his like little conspiracy theories and stuff. Like, I mean, he's right some of the times when he makes the truth look crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he goes that 2 steps too far. You know, so yeah. a lot of things similar. Look, now where Tucker Carlson got fired. The thing is, a lot of things they say have a truth to it and have roots. They are not totally wrong, but then they're spinning it too far and it goes in a total absurd direction, you know, where you feel like, I mean, what the one thing has nothing to do with the other thing and stuff like this. And I think Tucker Carlson, similar to all the big Fox stars, all got at one point fired, right? Glenn Beck, O'Reilly, and now Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly. So they're all getting offloaded at one point. I think it's like Rupert Murdoch when he feels, that guy has to go, then they find a reason to fire them for whatever reason.
Yeah, I think they give like certain actors like this thing where like they tell them they're allowed to say a certain level of truth, but then they make it sound insane. Because a lot of what Alex Jones was saying wasn't necessarily wrong. He just like was yelling it and sounding crazy. It's like your character from Bill from Rampage. Like his narrative's not necessarily wrong. It's just like the way he goes around murdering everybody's probably wrong. Like, I mean, it's just it's like the same kind of thing. Like the philosophy of Rampage is pretty similar to what Alex Jones is saying. It's just two different ideologies that just like sound like murdering people and yelling are both not a way to get your positive message across, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I saw last week Rampage popped back up everywhere and also on Twitter a lot because people recognizing that I predicted a lot of things that happened then with the storm on the Capitol, that it's a civil war going and stuff like this. It was all like before Trump even was a candidate to get elected. We predicted that there will be kind of a civil uprising, And we see basically in the last few years worldwide, the violence gets up, and everywhere. And I think that in different countries, people are not getting along with each other anymore. They don't respect each other anymore. And it's a very critical, let's say, negative path, because I think we only have to compare us with, let's say, China or Russia, and nobody from us want to live there, because then we both would get arrested right after this show today. And that is what, whatever.
You're right.
You're
right, brother.
Yeah, and that is right. Where I draw the line. I think where all the parties should be aware together that it's a big value to be free, and not like having now with the woke culture and all the crazy people in cancel culture, okay, they can flip out on you and cancel you for whatever you say, but it's not that they arrest you and kill you like Navalny is in jail in Russia, and he will die there. I have the bad feeling about him because he's very sick, right? So they even say they poison him slowly, maybe. So, and that is the thing. I think we have to know who are the enemies and who is really unacceptable.
No, I think you brought up a lot of good points, and I think cancel culture in its beginning form is just deleting your social media and like making sure you can't have a job. But I think if they could get away with it, they would kill us. I just think there'd be. I think our countries are too pro like freedom. I think especially. I don't think they get away with it yet, but if they could, we'd be dead. Is what I'm saying.
And what I don't get also is this kind of why the Democrats always try to like make more rules, more laws, more restrictions, right? And I twittered today that interview with Richard Dreyfuss when he said he wants to play a black guy. I felt that it's so funny. To say it now, he said like, why a white guy cannot play a black guy, right? And then he said also why a whatever non-Jewish guy can play a Jew, whatever. It doesn't matter. He said if you have great actors that can play everything.
Yeah, it's acting, and I agree with that statement. But it is fun. I see why it's funny though too. But no, it is. That's what acting is. You're pretending to be something you're not. Like I wasn't really an FBI agent or a SWAT guy, but I was in Rampage 3. So it's like it's just playing pretend. You had a professional. It's the same thing you do as a kid, really, except you found a way to monetize and become a legend in it. I think that's I think film, the way working with you anyway, like your film set, it was kind of just like being a kid again. It was like being like oh, here's some guns. You got the guns. Go get the bad guys. It was like kind of like it reminded me of being really young. And that's what I think was kind of cool about your experience, like about meeting you in Canada and stuff. Which is I think we both agree Canada sucks, right? As a German and an American, we both agree Canada sucks.
Yeah, but that is always the case. I'm in Germany.
That brings us together, right?
Yeah, but I just shot a film in New York, right? First shift. So after a long time, I made a police film in New York. And that is great. And but it was shooting wise, I cannot really recommend to shoot a film in New York, right? Because it's so after the whole COVID thing, I think the city didn't recover. It's a very big shithole. But the biggest problem were for me the mentality of a lot of the crew. It's like they're so woke, right? If you make one joke, they Twitter about you, try to trash you, whatever. It's like it's a totally different kind of work now as it was 5, 6, 7 years ago, where you could say whatever you want, and like stuff like this. Now it's a non-freedom set atmosphere where you have the feeling there are so many people, they're only there to do something negative against the production or against the people. They are all entitled. Most of the crew feels a total entitlement, and they're all acting like they don't make any money, even if they make like $500-600 a day. So, and if you do 20 days a month, you make real good money working on a film set in a technician position or whatever, like script girl, whatever. And you feel like these guys these guys and women, whatever they are so entitled. So I felt very much that I, like in me, an aggression growth against a lot of people, because I felt like they're not thankful at all that they work, that they have a job, and that you see more and more. You know,
No, I agree.
like all the governments. I had a discussion today. Every Sunday I go with a guy on the bike for an hour, 1.5 hours. We're biking around and we're talking. And look, all the governments have huge debt. Like we're basically living all on debt. So the countries, right? The US, the EU, they're all like massive in debt. And then now they propose a 4 days week. You know, and they propose to go in retirement when you're 60, whatever. But at the same time, everybody wants to live the life standard they have, but they want to work less. They want to have less stress. Okay, but both together doesn't work. You know, but the problem is now, I think they all think that the government has to provide it for them, no matter what. Like they have a right, like a birthright, you know, to drive a big van, have a house, and go 3 times a year on holidays. It's almost like this kind of total entitlement what went around, and that is pissing me off, you know. And that I felt that also on the movie set. What I also felt on the movie set, you were at Rampage. Everybody there were my friends. They were happy to make a film, even if it's low budget, with me.
Knew you forever. Yeah, everybody there knew you forever, had a cool story about you. That's true, yeah.
Yes, and this is now totally different, right? So now it's like everybody acts like I can be happy that there are an electrician for me, that they do me a favor, right? And you think like, what's the point? So there is no respect to for the filmmakers anymore. The only people who were all great were the actors. The actors are still into it and have fun and want to act and want to play a part, and don't come up with 10 minutes too late lunch, meal penalty. You know, this kind of fucked up rule. Yeah, it's insane. And I have the same kind of feeling with the writer's strike right now, right? So because it's like, so first of all, yes, if you're a script writer, you're very important and you need to get paid 100%. But they're acting like they're social workers, right? They're acting like they're basically blue collar workers. But normal writers, everybody in the picket line, let's say you will barely find people that make under 100K a year, even if they're staff writers on a show, on a TV show, or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're mostly millionaires probably.
Yeah, that is the thing. A lot of these people making actually a few $100,000 a year. So from this point of you know, when they always acting, oh, we want that too. And you know what that is? That is my problem with everything. I'm looking at the big picture. All the streamers making massive losses. Like Netflix has 30 billion or more loss, right? So in debt, how they ever want to pay that back, I don't know. So they make losses. They overpay the stars. Totally. It's totally absurd that films who are not even getting in the movie theaters and don't have a DVD release, don't have a theatrical income, that people getting $20-30 million, like Ryan Reynolds or whatever, shooting a Netflix original film. I think it's way too much money. And I think all that studios and streamers should get together and they should say, look, you should like reduce the maximum amount we pay to actors, because they're making so much money that they basically can stop acting after 2 big paychecks, right? It's ridiculous. And I think that is not good that they're making so much money, you know?
Well, especially right now is the worst time to protest, because like ChatGPT can pretty much just take their jobs. Like I guess it's a terrible time to protest as a writer, I think. And like I think it's a push towards automation. I think everything's gonna be AI automation, to where that's why they're trying to ease people into that 4-day work week. And then I agree with everything you said about New York. I fucking hate New York City. And everything's full of cockroaches and it smells bad and everybody's fucking gay. Like not in like a homosexual way, but just their attitude. They're all fags, you know? And like and that's how I feel. And like I think you need to get to Missouri, bro. You need to shoot some movies out here.
Yeah, do they have a labor tax rebate or something, or is there anything?
Arkansas does, and that's right below us. Arkansas has that, and so does Atlanta. That's where everybody shoots movies here now. It seems like, anyway. I mean,
yeah.
LA. And what's funny, I think the reason Hollywood hated you back in the day is because you're like the only one that wasn't a pedophile, bro. The way it's coming out. like every week they're like, this guy's a pedophile, this guy's a pedophile, here's evidence, and like they're like, we hate Uwe Boll. And I'm like, well, it's probably in hindsight it's probably a luxury that you
I did went to Kevin Spacey parties, So and
that's what I'm saying, man. These guys all ostracize you and kick you out of one of the best. You're one of the best filmmakers, one of the most honest businessmen, I'd argue, and just as a person. And they like hated you, which is that's what drew me to you originally. I'm like, this guy's doing something right. He pissed off all these fucking idiots. He did something right, and that's like that's like a truth filter. I feel like,
Yeah, I know. What happened is, like a few weeks ago, somebody said, "Look, nobody can cancel Uwe Boll because you were canceled 20 years ago. You gave a shit, because I was never uncanceled, no matter what films I did."
And you got rich doing it. Like, people were shit talking you. You became a millionaire off movies if you weren't already. I don't know your situation, but I'm saying, like, but these, you were fucking. You made millions of dollars off movies when people shit talked it, and like, so the evidence is in the pudding. It's like you're just like, okay, well, people watch these movies, and enjoyed it. Like, Postal's the best intro I've ever seen in my entire life. Like in a movie, Postal's the ballsiest fucking intro, and that was so close to 9/11. Like, I actually also, and I'm an American. I'm an American. I think it's funny as fuck. I'm just like, that is the funniest fucking intro I've ever seen in a movie, probably. That's how I was introduced to you through a Postal intro. I'm like, holy fuck, this is genius.
Yeah. But as you can imagine, if you do Postal now, you get like arrested, canceled, whatever. And all the actors would say, I cannot do this. My agent told me not to be in the film, right? At this time where we shot Postal, even J.K. Simmons, Oscar winner, right? So people like this, we had great cast in Postal, and they were really into it. And they had fun to do a ridiculous comedy. I love films like Naked Gun and stuff like this, and all that stuff would not get shot anymore, right? So I think comedy is the first real victim of all that cancel culture, what is since COVID even worse and worse and worse, spiraled out of control, so that people cannot make jokes where they insult somebody. And I think you have to insult somebody because otherwise it's not funny. So you have to go far. You have to be if you like basically even out the jokes, right? So that everybody gets it, then it's not a bad thing to do this, And I think people should get a little thicker skin growing up. Right now, the young generation is like a bunch of pussies who are offended by everything, and they don't want to hear anything in a way like what could be bad for them or what could make them depressed and so on. And there was a good thing in that Richard Dreyfuss thing too, what he said, because I saw it today, so it's fresh in my memory. He wrote even a book. He said the generation, their parents now don't want that the kids learn something in school what makes them uncomfortable. So, okay, but if you go back in history of what happened on the planet Earth, everything makes you uncomfortable. I mean, the history of the world is a massacre, basically. And, and if you want to know what really happened in the history, how the world unfolded to the point of now, I think you have to go through it and say that is the truth. Like, violence was crucial in human history from day one on till today. Look at the violence everywhere, So, and to deny this or say, oh, that's my comfort zone, I don't want to be out of my comfort zone, then you're not a human being. Then you're like an idiot, right? So, and I think schools need to confront the kids with things that actually happened in history, and not like sugarcoating it all away. And and making them feel as long you have your iPhone in your hand, you're safe. You're in a safe space because you can call whatever the WhatsApp hotline for. I feel unsafe. It's so idiotic. I think the world really needs Postal 2, basically, right? So it's a film like this, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. You need to make a movie more now than ever, bro. Because I think the times to challenge free speech are like the times to make legends, man. You know what I mean? Like whoever fights this and wins becomes like a legend for the rest of the fucking time. They're like, oh, remember that time when China tried to take over and make Europe and America try to make Nikes for them, and they just said, "Shut the fuck up." You know what I mean? That's all it's about. It's like shut the fuck up. That's how I feel. It's just like I have so many jokes that push limits like that and stuff, and I steamroll everybody because everybody else is just like, I don't know, safe words, and I literally just say what. I literally just say what everybody wants to hear. I steamroll them, bro. Like that's what you do in film. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's I feel like I do that in comedy, but I feel like you do it in film, and I think that's that's important right now. I just feel like, oh yeah, I still made this movie, even though there's people that are mad. I don't know. Sorry guys, you guys, and then you said it best too with all these people. You're like, where's your fucking movie? Like, you'd be like calling these people out like they would shit talk you. I remember that. I remember seeing that. You're like, okay, we'll make a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's the
Make your
necessary
own movie.
response.
Yeah, make your own movie, make a better film. And I mean,
Okay.
interesting is I did a various podcast recently, right? So after I did the shoot in New York, and a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm so a big fan. I loved Poster, blah blah blah," right? And I think it's so idiotic when you feel like this kind of yeah, well, you know what? I'm thrown off. Plus, J.K. Simmons is from Roseville, Illinois, so I just see that what the Jerry Singleton wrote. Wrote there. So you know, and I feel like if that films were so bad, why people still watch House of the Dead? Why it's still like in cable TV, or you know, or people have still buying DVDs and all that stuff from all the film, Blood Rain, In the Name of the King, and I get every year like some residuals, and I see how many TV airings the films did, and every year there are hundreds of TV airings around the globe from all my films. So, and there are a lot of the films are 10 years old, 15 years old, 13 years old. And so that is the thing, you know, Rampage 1, 2, 3 were bought by Netflix. So why, when they're so bad and I'm the worst filmmaker on earth, they bought it? Because it's entertaining, it's good, it's great, interesting, and it's different, you know. So it's not what everybody was doing, and I think that is important when you make films. You to just repeat one what other people are doing is boring.
Dude, I saw Rampage, and I annoyed you to be in both of those movies, and you finally said yes on the third one, bro. I saw the first one. I'm like, this movie is so fucking great. I love that movie so much. I looked up who you were and shit. I found who you were. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna annoy this guy. And I annoyed you for 2, and you're like 70, so you're like, no. And then 3, I'm like, I will fucking drive there. Like, all right, deal.
I was like, yeah, I know. When you told me that, I said, no, come over, then do it. You know,
dude,
so
that's what I mean. That movie's that good that I fucking annoyed you through the internet without even knowing knowing you as like personally, at least, you know, and I knew like the story and what people put out there, but I'm like, I was like, man, this guy makes such good movies. I'm gonna literally annoy this guy to be in one of his movies, and that's my feelings. And I love the villain approach too. It's like that, like old, like who's that? Von Stroheim, like the German filmmaker everybody hated. Like you have that like pro wrestling approach to that, but you're not as like nasty as that guy was. That guy was like pretty nasty, like in certain aspects. But I mean, that gas chamber scene in fucking I mean, that was kind of fun. You put a Nazi putting people in chambers. That was kind of fucked up. Yeah, I mean, that's very Eric von Stroheim too. You know, it's like I feel like he dressed like a Nazi, and so I mean, like certain things like.
No, but also this is the thing. It's like, for example, if you want to score in Germany, that's the reason in Germany people hate me too. You just make a film where the bad Nazis getting hunted down and killed, you know. So, and I mean, what's the point? It's like a lot of people, they acting like they're making courageous films, but they don't. They do films about old past stuff. What is like there is no you didn't hunt the Nazis down when you make now a film about bad Nazis. Then right now, if you do this, you're just a person who's kissing the ass of the TV stations, of the decision makers, of the film subsidy people, you know, because they're all like, yeah, we want to be looking like the good guys. You know, and that is not being,
like, yeah, like, you know, like being a hero is just being a hero. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to like tell everybody you're a hero. You know, you're just that's I feel like it's like these virtue signaling people that are probably terrible people. They're like the people that think everything's racist because they're racist. They're like, like, oh man, that's kind of racist. I'm like, well, you're probably racist if you saw racism in that. It's kind of fucking weird. Yeah. I mean, it's like that's how I feel, and it's like we're about out of this era. I think of all these people crying and getting like crowns and stuff. Yeah. I think we're about out. Like the critic became the hero for some weird reason right now because there's more of them. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, but look, one concrete example for the situation right now. So I made that film Darfur like 9 years ago, right? There was a massacre. There were massacres in Darfur. 500,000 people died. Like way more people as in the Ukraine war died so far. Way more, right? So now we have the same shit going on in Darfur again. The same thing happens right now. There's a war full on in Sudan about Darfur. They're killing each other. The U.S. embassy is already empty. German embassy empty. They were all flying out.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, yeah, Ukraine, because it is a strategic important, you know, and it's Russia attacking Ukraine. We're pumping all the weapons to the Ukraine, and we are, you know, in Germany already 1.2 million Ukrainian refugees. So, and they're getting directly money and an apartment whatsoever, right? So Ukraine is interesting. but the poor people in Darfur don't matter. So what's happening now is they will getting hacked into pieces again, and we again do nothing because it's not important for us. So, and that is where I call out the politics, because they're putting always that moral point, like we have to help the innocent Ukrainians, whatever. If you put this out, if it's all about the poor people we have to help because they're getting attacked, right? Okay, but then you also have to go to Darfur and stop the massacres. And they should stop that 8-9 years ago when the first time it happened. And now again, it repeats it. And again, what we're doing is we're retreating from Darfur because we say, oh, I don't have anything to do with it. So let's get babies getting hacked into pieces. And that is that two-faced society we're living in. And in a lot of films like Darfur, South on Wall Street, Rampage, Postal also, as a comedy, I try to call this out. You know, I call it out, like, don't act like we are only the good guys. We follow our interests, right? I'm not pro letting the Ukraine fall and Russia moving into the Ukraine. I don't want that. I think the Ukrainians fighting an unbelievable war against Russia. They're holding their own. And it looks like Russia is not like, will not take the whole country, you know, but there is more to it, you know, and that is what I mean. It's like there is, like when he said money laundering scheme to date, there was a reason Ukraine never joined the NATO, never joined the EU, because there are basically a very poor third world country where some oligarchs had all the money. And historically, the Ukraine was a lot of hundreds of years in the hands of other countries, Poland, Turkey, Germany, Russia. So they all invaded Ukraine, and you know, and they are only like independent now since whatever 20 years. And so you cannot all completely ignore it, you know, and you act the Ukraine is like France and got attacked from Russia or something. It's not the same. So that is the same. But right now, of course, it's not that I want that Putin wins the war. I hope that Putin stops the war and walks away from the war and doesn't give or gives up on it, you know. But I'm very mad that a situation like Darfur right now happens twice, and we again will fail to help, you know. So I think that is the ridiculous two-faced world we're living in.
Yeah. It's like everybody just wants to sound like they're a good person and like do terrible shit constantly. So I mean, it's fucking nuts, man. And like the world's terrifying right now. I feel like we're going through like a fucking communist takeover, man. I feel like the world is. I mean, Germany's seeing it too. I mean, I think the world's going. I think China's trying to expand, and they got like all dudes. And I'm like, oh shit. I mean, I'm like, they just built an army while I was fucking playing video games, bro. You know, I was like, holy shit.
No, but let's say Taiwan, right? So if you have Taiwan. So America basically says they will fight China if China wants to take Taiwan, right? But that is, it would be insane.
Oh, it's already insane.
I mean, what do you want to do?
This is insane. Dude, yeah, war's so fucking stupid. It's just a bunch of billionaires trying to push us into it. It's like fucking dumb.
Yeah, you cannot. Yeah, also, how you want to win a war against China? There are 1.4 million people. You know, it's. But I mean, of course, I think China is insane. Why they want to invade Taiwan? They want to swallow up all the microchip production facilities, maybe, right? So, but if you go in a country, like same with the Russians going to Ukraine, let's say they take Ukraine, let's say they take Taiwan, you have, they will not listen to you. The people will, you have terrorist attack. It's not that the Taiwanese are then happy Chinese. They will be like fighting against it from like an internal kind of revolutionary guerrilla fighting, right? Or they leave, everybody's leaving, and then technology breaks apart and the chip factories breaking apart. So it's ridiculous. It's for China, it's the same idiotic mistake if they do this as the Russians did to try to get Ukraine under control, because in the end, you cannot hold a country like this forever. They will always break free, and they always say, whatever, we're not working for you, and then they sabotage things. And it's shocking to see how stupid these countries are, that they actually think with the military force they can control the whole country and swallow it up, and then everybody is like whatever, happily Russian in Ukraine or happily Chinese in Taiwan. So I think that is horrible. But what I want to say is, we handle this kind of countries, I think, wrong. We also have to accept that there are other forms of governing, that they do it different, that they do their thing, and we cannot bring like westernized freedom in every country on the planet. We can't. It doesn't work, and they don't want it, right? So you know, like Chinese want McDonald's and they have it. They want cars and they got it. In China was only bicycles 40 years ago. Now there are like 800 million cars. So they got the westernized lifestyle, but they don't want the westernized politics. And and we shouldn't try to indoctrinate this.
Yeah. I don't think we want the westernized politics, man. Like, I mean, it's a fucking Jerry Springer clown show, man. It's like insulting, dude. And like, I mean, the world's just nuts, man. I think it's just broke 19-year-olds fighting broke 19-year-olds over like fucking fevered egos of rich men. You know, it's just boring. You know, it's just like it's like these billionaires playing chess with fucking young souls, and it's just not worth it, man. It's just like we're so dumb. It's like, all right, we should just have leaders box, bro. But we need a better leader than Biden right now. It was like we need to take a better. It's embarrassing for America, who I think has set like precedent over the last like almost 100 years. I'd argue 80, but I'm saying it set precedent over like the world and how to be like the good guy and how to do this and yeah, they fucked up. I get it. I get there's a lot of fuck ups of America. I get that, but I'm saying like it's so insulting to see a president that can't form a sentence, can't walk upstairs. You know what I mean? Like George Washington would just be dropping bodies, bro. You know what I mean? He'd just be like, what the fuck is even going on? Just like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's just like that's not necessary either. It's just like we got to figure our way out, and like, you know what I mean? We got to figure out like we got to get along. Basically, we all have to get along. That's like the only thing. It's a collab.
Yeah, but it's not like I think Biden shouldn't run again. It would be a terrible mistake, and I don't think Trump should run again. It would be a terrible mistake. Yeah, there should be presidents who have a life still in front of them and have a reason that the planet survives, and not like, in 2 years I'm dead, I give a fuck. No, so.
Yeah, that's terrifying to think about too. Yeah, I think a cat would do a better job at this point. We just got a fucking cat, and like I had to negotiate with everybody. It's just like meow. Like I mean, they're like talking about shit like no wars ever, bro. It's like just pet the cat. Yeah, pet America's president. We gotta get going. You know what I mean? It's like we gotta get going.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's no, it is that the political landscape is kind of crazy, and I don't know even who's the president from UK anymore. They changing every 5 minutes, and then you have whatever Prince Charles is the king now. So it's it's like so stupid that this
king
stuff.
Pedophile, yeah, he's the king of all the pedophiles. Like I heard.
Yeah, that 100%. And
it's like we're the crown. It's like 2023 is like crown me. I'm just like, what century do you think you're in? And all of his people are mad, bro. If you're watching the internet right now, like all the British people are like, dude, we have a lot of debt, we have a lot of poverty, and you just spent $100 million on fucking like jerking off in front of people. You mean like basically? You mean like you mean it's just like the British people are pissed about that too, man. Like.
Yeah, but it's half-half, right? It's half-half. You have the hardcore fans. They're like camping on the sidewalk for 3.5 days to wait that he drives by with his horse bullshit wagon there. You think like, what is wrong? You know, and then you have the people, they actually think, oh, what a money waste that is. And we shouldn't forget all the royals in the world stole what they have. They declared, okay, you know what? I'm higher as you. You are now my servant, my slave. I go around, I annex whole countries in Africa, plunder them out, and I'm rich and you're poor and you have nothing. So it's, I mean, that this didn't get broken by us. I even tweeted it yesterday. I said, like, it's a shame for on us that we never stopped that we still have this kind of Pope in Rome, like a king, you know, like all the bishops and so on. It's like with the churches, and then you have the royals everywhere just raking in tax money so that they have their lifestyle. I think it's insane. It's also insane from Canada and Australia that they still think they're part of the British Empire or what. I mean, what the fuck? It's totally absurd, you know. Yeah,
it's just the devil walking the earth, bro. You know, it's just like, you know, that's all his boys. All his boys want shiny things, you know. It's just a bunch of fags and Parada. They're like, oh, I'm special, I'm unique, you know, I'm this. And he's just like, man, like nobody's better than anybody. It's crazy, you know. It's crazy to realize that. Like,
yeah, I mean, that at least
So
the
about-
US doesn't have. Yeah, I mean, the US has, in regards of politics, they don't have this kind of old-fashioned royals because it's kind of a newer country. In Germany, also the government took basically everything away from them. In France too, because of like basically the political landscape didn't allow that royal people exist and or keep government-owned land, basically, right? At one point, you have to tell these guys, no, it's government owned. It's not you. You were the government 500 years ago. Now you're just an idiot with a crown on, who may, you make a fool out of yourself. I mean, think about it. If we would run around in costumes like this, they would incarcerate us, put us in a mental asylum. Yeah,
that's how it looks to me. That's how it like looks. Like all these people like watching and playing along. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is this on American TV? I'm like, we got rid of these fucking dudes. You know, I'm like, we got fucking rid of those guys a long time ago. I'm just like, oh man. And then it's just so weird. He's like just playing Tea Party in front of the world. Like, how embarrassing. You mean, like, I would be like, if I was even that rich, you would never know I'm that rich. You know what I mean? I'd fucking, I'd live in a homeless shelter and be a trillionaire. You'd never fucking know. You know, that's how I feel. Like, you mean, you got to be humble and shit. You can't just like walk around like, you know what I mean? You can't be. Nobody's better than anybody. It's insane.
But you would have an elevator in the homeless shelter for the lower, you go low. You have your palace under it. You build it at indoor pool, jacuzzis, bowling alley,
and a bomb shelter.
Okay, I'm still a trillionaire, but I'm still living in the homeless shelter. So I mean, I just came out of the movies before we started talking. I watched with my son the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. It's supposed to be the last one. From time.
Out?
Yeah, it's out since last week.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know there's a new one. How was it?
Well, it's okay. I mean, I'm not a big fan of all that superhero films. I like this one because it's funny, right? So because they make like total absurd jokes from time to time. But that like Deadpool and Guardians of the Galaxy, I think are for adults the best to watch because they're actually in a way making fun out of the whole bullshit. Where you have this kind of Avenger stuff. I think it's very boring and oh god, like they take it too serious. If they take that bullshit too serious, it's not entertaining. And so they have some good jokes and as they had in the first two. So I would definitely recommend the film. In a way, it's watchable. I'm not going to the movies a lot. I mostly watch stuff now, also on the streamers and stuff.
You need to review movies on your website, bro. You go, you just go, it was watchable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's like a great review. I mean, that's a very honest review. It's like, yeah, no, comic movies are fucking terrible. But I mean, it's like, no, it's an honest review of like that, like taking the scrutiny of that, like involved in that, and then like, seeing through it and still enjoying time with your son too. You can't just be like when you're hanging out with your family, you're just like, this sucks the whole time, Yeah, it's just lame. But no, it's
the one thing what is strange in the movie. So we had a nacho drink package. So now it got also more complicated to order any food in the movie theater. So you are there, and then she tells me if I take 3 drinks instead of 2, but of course we're 2 people, it's cheaper because I can get a different package with the nachos. So I like, why is that cheaper? If I get 3 drinks, it's cheaper now. She said, yeah, because you fell under the family package, whatever bullshit. So then we were with 3 drinks walking in because I saved $2, right? So, but that is like computer generated absurdity, And when you said the AI, what you said in the beginning with the artificial intelligence, they do this now with the streamers already. Like when I filed to Amazon some projects, right? And then if they don't want it at all, they email you back, no, we're not interested. If they are interested in the subject matter, you don't give them the script because they're not reading it. So you have to fill out, like in the computer, they send you a link and you have to fill that out. And I know no human will read that thing. I know a computer-generated AI is filtering it out more, what could work on Amazon and what not. That is how it is already. So, and what you said is true. The next step would be you put some bullet points in the story you want to tell, and you don't need a writer because the AI is just writing it for you, right? So
it's already possible. I wrote these stupid fucking I wrote these stupid cartoons before, like for them to put before these show. Dude, I put it in there. and I just put like a toaster strudel fights shape-shifting reptilians posing as celebrities, rich people, and blah. And they had like a genius like skit immediately. Like they had like 4 different like scenes of it. I'm like, damn, I could probably fucking use that. You know what I mean? It's just like because like they apply the basic molds of how writers have written, which is interesting. Which I'm bad at that. I'm good at like just being like a daydreamer, head in the clouds, and like the formatting I'm bad at. So I mean, I feel like I'm still writing it to a degree because you're putting the prompts in, but you're not like sitting here being like all this, doing all that dumb shit. But no, I mean,
but it's interesting. I mean, I know people also they experimented with it already, also with scripts and stuff, right? So, and I think they should put some crazy bullet points in, like a script what gets me 100% arrested, please, whatever, like stuff like this.
Yeah. And they'll include it. They do that, bro. It's like crazy.
Yeah. They do all that stuff, right? So whatever, a film who makes 100% 1 million, 100 million, or a film who makes where Tom Cruise will say, yes, I'm doing it. So they have to read the brain from Tom Cruise, Scientology, blah, 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 all together. And then they write him a script that he wants to do it. All of this in the next 10 years will happen.
You don't even need him anymore. You can just make like a CGI Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? Like you don't even need the actors anymore. You don't even need anybody. You just do voiceovers and shit. Computers can do the voiceovers even. Like, I mean, that's why I think AI is gonna hit every industry like super hard. And like I bet they're already making these AI movies. Like on Apple, they have these really shitty movies with Tom Hanks and shit, where he's like the last guy on Mars or only guy on Mars or something. And like
Finch or whatever
some shitty movie like that.
Finch. Yeah.
It's so bad. I watched it and it's terrible. But like I know what I'm talking. I actually watched it. But it's fucking but it looked all CGI. He didn't look real in that movie. And I bet they're already making CGI movies with these huge stars. Like Bruce Willis signed over his rights like to basically be in that. I bet they're already doing it. It's just not like they don't talk about it yet.
Yeah, look, Bruce Willis can physically not shoot a film anymore, so maybe he sells the face, right? And says, look, give me $1 million per movie, you can use my face. And they did it with Indiana Jones now. I mean, Harrison Ford is so old, and when you see the trailer and everything, he's way younger. So they basically made him younger, and I think of some scenes he doesn't even know they exist in the film. When he watches the film, he said, I never shot that scene because they replaced him already.
Smart. With like, they did do that. Yeah. You're right. That's a great reference point. I forgot about. Yeah, that's a public admitted. Yeah, they admitted that. That's crazy. So, yeah, they got to be doing it already. Like we could just sit here with a computer and be like, all right, I want to make Jurassic Park fucking 5, or like Forrest Gump 2, And like, I think that'd piss a lot of people off if you made Forrest Gump 2. Like in America, I bet that'd piss people off. Like the book's better. There actually is a book for it, and it's better. Yeah. And like,
when you talked about Tom Hanks, right? I think Tom Hanks, who was an idol, like went completely down the drain. I mean, I cannot name you the last 15 films from Tom Hanks.
No, I don't even know if Tom Hanks could, bro.
No, I know. But he picks those shitty films, right? He picks films that are totally not interesting at all. And you start watching them, you think like, what's the point? Why he's doing this? And it all started with this kind of, the Vatican stuff, like the crime stuff. That were the last few movies where that was Audrey Tautou or whatever she was in it, and it was in France or in Italy where the Pope kills people, whatever. There was a big Ron Howard stuff. That was the last kind of watchable films with him. And then it went so downhill that I'm kind of ashamed, because I loved Forrest Gump. And I loved his comedies, right? So he did great comedies. And then I hate that when people going away from their past, like Seth Rogen is ashamed of his comedies. I mean, Seth Rogen would be nothing without his comedies, right?
No,
or whatever, without Superbad and this stuff, they would be absolutely nothing. And now they try to make serious films or dramas, and it totally doesn't work because people want to see them in comedies. And they are comedians. So, and I think Tom Hanks was basically a comedian, like Jim Carrey, right? So they are funny. And then they made so many like artificial dramas. They are all like they don't get it, that they were wrong on it,
Yeah.
So,
it's weird. Like, it's like those are the only things that made him great. And like, I like old Tom Hanks stuff. I'm like, his new stuff does stuff. But if you made Forrest Gump too, I bet it would piss people off and sell. Like the second one, he owns a strip club in like Alabama or something. And like the second one, And like it's just like this, like it's like written by the same writer, and like the story is actually better from my perspective. And like everyone already has an introduction to Forrest Gump, and like all you have to do is get the writer's permission.
Yeah, but you're not getting that. Yeah,
you don't think so? I bet you. I bet I could. I bet I could talk him into it. I bet I could just like hang out with him like for like a day and sell him on it, and like make him happy with it. He's like, dude, I think like that movie would piss everybody off that you made it, and then put Tom Hanks' son in it, put Chet Hanks in it, and then just be like, okay, Chet Hanks is playing Forrest Gump. Yeah. Dude, you would piss every fucking body off, and it would sell a lot. You know what I mean? Everybody be like,
you know what the first shot is on Forrest Gump 2 is that Gary Sinise is popping back up out of the ocean.
Dude, yeah, he's big. He was a big actor.
He dived for 40 years straight. He comes back up. I'm just not drowning. What the fuck? So and then he swims to the shore or whatever. I don't know.
You should get that kid that played Harry Potter. If he was in a movie, it'd blow up no matter what. Because everybody's seen that movie. So there's certain people you just grab and be like, okay, this movie just blow up for no reason. You know what I mean?
Radcliffe, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, that kid would sell it anyway. You could make fucking the shittiest movie of all time, and they just put him in there, and everyone would go see it. Like Harry Potter. You know, it worked for Harry Potter.
I was never I don't think I watched a Harry Potter film longer as like 25 minutes. But it's the same stuff now when you see here the stuff with now the new Game of Thrones version, the new Lord of the Rings versions, all the streamer stuff. I couldn't watch it. I started watching it. I felt after 10 minutes, I'm not doing that to me. Like that
it's dudes walking. It's like, it's dudes walking forever. That movie sucks. Like, no, I think everybody loves that movie. I think because they read the book and have like an emotional attachment to the book and how they imagined it potentially, and then they watch the movie and like the movie just sucks. It's like five. Well, how many dudes walking for like hours for like fucking 8 hours just walking? Like this sucks. Like what a shitty movie. It's just a shitty movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like really shitty. Like it's like
I can only imagine also when I watched the Guardians of the Galaxy today. So how much is actually built now in the studio, right? And how much is just green screen the stagecraft round thing, what they did at the Mandalorian and stuff. And you basically you don't really act as an actor. They just say, look in this direction. There's the monster coming. Then look in this direction. There's your best buddy coming. Get tears in your eyes because your best buddy just died. But you don't see anything. It's like nothing ever happens in real. And I could never do it. When I watched like an hour of the new Avatar film, I felt like I would quit making films before I can make films like this, because think about 6 years in a fucking water tank with like green costumes on, and you have Sigourney Weaver, you have all that stars, and you never see them because they're just having a suit on, and you think, what's the point? Why I'm not hiring just extras swimming around, and because it's all digital in the end, so it doesn't really matter. But I could not do that as an actor. I could never do it as a director. It's so boring, so artificial technique, right? So it's just like it has nothing to do with making a film. It's telling a story, having like real people like grab the guy, throw him on the ground, like doing some stuff for real, or that you create a scene and a character and they go for it. It drags me so down, and I mean, I don't want to do it. What I loved, by the way, on First Shift in New York, so I got for small parts very good actors. I got like Gary Pastore. He was in 10 Scorsese films. So he was already in Goodfellas. He was an Irishman. He was in Wolf of Wall Street. Like guys like this, from so many films you watch. He played a mafia guy killing another mafia guy. Then I had a Daniel Soli. He played also a mafia guy in The Juice with James Franco, that TV show. And he was like the biggest killer in the whole thing. And I have him also killing a whole family. Then James McMiniman, he was in House of Cards and Orange is the New Black. He plays a father who kills his whole family. So anyway, that was the good thing in New York, that you have so much like very good actors. And because you shoot right in front of the house, you basically get a lot of good actors playing in your film. What is harder to get to Canada, for example, right? So and stuff like this. So that was a good point to shoot in New York. And Gino Pizzi plays the male lead. He was with Jennifer Lopez in Shades of Blue. Kristen Renton from Sons of Anarchy, who played the female cop. So I think it will be hopefully a good film. And
when's it come out on? How can people see this?
No, it will be in fall at one point. But we're still in post-production. And I'm happy I scored Ethan Manikis as editor. He did Sin City, From Dusk Till Dawn, Machete. So yeah, he's cutting the film right now. So what is very good.
Badass, man. Congrats.
Yeah, and it's the first film basically where I shot completely in US, post-production in US, all American crew, all American actors. So all the other films were mostly in Vancouver, right? So and then you fake US the whole time. And I'm curious to see how it turns out.
Well, shoot a movie in Missouri next time.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Send me some photos, landscapes, cities, whatever. I have actually 2 films in development, but maybe can move there.
The best spot here, in my opinion, is Lake of the Ozarks, because you have like these mountains, you have like these like awesome mountains, and then you have like this weird lake culture, like where it's like bar hops on boats and stuff. It's like I think it's the coolest city here. But then there's a lot of cool rural stuff, and then a lot of cool St. Louis looks like it was bombed. Like it looks like St. Louis looks like it survived a war or something. It's like so you have all this, and then you have like this, I don't know, and then you have the boring suburb. The suburbs are okay to live in, but like boring to shoot in probably. But I think like there's a lot of the Ozarks are probably the coolest thing. Like
I watched the show. Was that show on Netflix actually shooting there? Yes.
Ozark. They shot some of the templates. They shot some of the templates down there, but they shoot that movie. They shoot it all in Atlanta though. Like, because the tax write-offs and stuff.
Tax credits, yeah.
Atlanta and Arkansas have like those tax credits. Yeah, Arkansas has it too. And then but I think like honestly, like shooting though, I think, dude, just like I don't know, if you had a cool story that went with it, man, like that would just be the spot, bro. Like,
nothing is impossible. Hopefully, I can sell my film good now. I'm when I'm done with post-production, and then I want to do the next one right away. I have to stop because I have dinner.
Yeah, you should go eat your food, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks
talk to you soon. We stay in contact as usual, and then hopefully, I would send you the trailer when the trailer is done.
Dude, I'll totally watch it. Thank you, bro. And God bless you. Tell your family, hey, and blessings to everybody, brother. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
And thank you all for watching. That was Uwe Boll, German filmmaker. Google him. Interesting dude. A lot of good movies. Check him out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending your Sunday last minute just watching this. I appreciate it. And God bless all of you. Bye.